I'm Mr. Kwan. I'm the Regional Director of College Readiness, and I'm excited today to talk with you about College Fit. In our session, our objective is that some families will be able to identify important college fit factors and tools to search for colleges. No matter what grade level your student is, no matter where you're starting, there are important considerations you need to make as you choose what kind of college you want to pursue one day. To do that, we'll first review some different post-secondary pathway options. We'll have a general overview from some experts about college lists. We'll think about the question, how do I figure out which colleges to apply to? We'll hear some alumni advice, and we'll get some college search tips to start your conversation at home about college, as well as how to search for what's right for you. To get started, it's important for us to think about what types of post-secondary or post-high school options are out there. Summit did a study of alumni and thinking about how they made their post-secondary choices, and they've really identified that students have four drivers in their decisions. Family and support, what kinds of involvement am I receiving at home? School and belonging, thinking about what do I need from my experiences at school? What kind of sense of connection or community do I need? Dreams and identity, students reflecting on why do I work hard? What do I want to become in the future? Really using their purpose to drive where they want to be one day. And then of course, cost and benefit. What do I like to do? What are my goals and how do I get there? A big part of this is finances, as well as what kind of planning do I need to do to make that goal one day. Post high school, there are a number of educational options for students. On the left side of your screen, you could see they go to technical, vocational, or certification programs, more trade school options directly to career. They go to community college, which is getting you a 2-year associate's degree, which can lead to transferring to a 4-year or directly to your career, or you can start right at the 4-year. You can get a 4-year degree, which can lead to your career, can lead to more school, to professional degrees. Our expectation is that 100% of our students are applying to a 4-year college, and ultimately our goal is for every student to be matched with a post-secondary pathway that is right for them. As you consider a list of options for yourself, you do want to think about what is the best type of school that could fit me. We're going to hear from some college admissions experts right now about their opinion on how to build a college list. As you watch this, I want you to listen and think, what kind of tips or tools do they speak about that you could use in your own search?
I think it can be so overwhelming, just the sheer number of schools. When you open up a guidebook and the guidebook is more than 1,000 pages long, you just wonder, where do you even start? But I think students who keep an open mind can do really well in the process because there's so many wonderful institutions out there and probably schools that you might never have even heard of. So if you're willing to go outside of your comfort zone, if you're willing to go to a school that you maybe haven't heard of or in a part of the country that you're not really familiar with, you can really open up many, many doors for yourself.
I think the process starts, let's start with academics. And so a student thinking a little bit about what they've done in the last 3 or 4 years with their academics, the classes they've taken, which classes they've really liked. Is it because of the teacher? Is it because of the subject? Is it because of the way it was taught? And really starting to think about, what they may want to study in college. And to think about, the way that material is delivered. Was it in lecture format? Did they do more group work? Did they do discussion-based conversations? And really thinking about what are the ways that they learn best, right? Ultimately for me, when I'm talking with students, especially low-income students that are, looking at this process with sort of, not a lot of help in the process, really thinking about how to put yourself in a position to be really successful in college. So thinking through those sorts of things, thinking through a little bit about community. Right? So what kind of community are you going to be in? Who's in that community? Where are they from? Are they all from the local area? Are they from a national pool and an international pool? If you're an underrepresented student, an international student, those sorts of things. Is there a population on that campus? If that's important to you, you can look at those sorts of factors. Extracurricular activities, the things that you're doing now in high school are the things you want to continue to do. So maybe you're a flute player and you want to continue to play in college, although you think you may want to be a biology major. Or is there a school where you can still be in the band and the symphony, but be a biology major?
Ask questions. Anything that comes to your mind, ask the question. There's no question that somebody else hasn't thought about or that you should feel, oh, that's a stupid question, I won't ask them that.
Sometimes I think students become stuck on one school when in fact there is no one perfect school out there for them. And in fact, there are many, many, many schools that will be a good fit. And so it's more about figuring out what's the personality of a school and how does it mesh with your personality and what it is that you hope to achieve. Keeping that open mind so that you will have many options and you'll ultimately end up at a place where you'll be really excited to be and where you will be able to have incredible experiences that will really broaden your perspective.
So according to our experts, there are a number of factors you need to consider as you think about college fit. You really have to think about, as one of the experts said, the personality of the school and how that meets with your personality. You have to evaluate what's important to you. So to boil it down, there are a number of factors you need to consider. Everything from location, how far from home do you want to go? What kind of weather do you want to be in? Do you want to be urban? Do you want to be rural? What programs or academics are available? Is it focused on the academic track you're looking for? Do you want a number of options available to you? Public and private. Public schools we know are less expensive. Private schools have an additional cost to them. Public schools sometimes are bigger. Private schools are sometimes smaller. Secular, religious. Do you want a faith affiliation? What kind of a diversity? What does the student body look like? What does it look like racially? What does it look like in terms of gender? What kind of experience do you want? Size, big or small, medium even. In-state versus out-of-state. Do you want to be close to home? Do you want to pay less tuition? Are you okay with spending a little bit more to have a new experience out of state? Cost, of course, is a big factor. What kind of financial aid are you interested in? Selectivity, how competitive is it? Based on your GPA, based on your qualifications? And as we said earlier, do you want to think about a 2-year college for an associate's degree or a 4-year college for a 4-year degree, a BA? If you are a family member or a caregiver to a student, start the conversation now about what's important to you and your student. Think about these factors and weigh together what is important to us as a family. But don't take my word for it. Let's hear actually from some of our alumni and how they made their college lists. As you watch some of our alumni speak, I want you to think, if you're a student, how do their stories resonate with mine? If you're a family member, think, how could I help my student navigate the different ideas that the alumni are talking about?
Hello, my name is Karen Martinez and I graduated from Everest in 2014 and I went to UC Riverside and graduated in 2018. The way that I chose my colleges during high school was going based off of the schools that we visited. We were able to see different schools every year, and that kind of gave me a perspective of the different campuses and how they looked, the different type of cultures they had, the different type of diversity, as well as the food, which was one of my priorities, the cafeterias that they had, and the choices that they offered, as well as looking at my GPA, kind of just going based mainly on like, will I be able to get in? What is their, ratio of acceptance and all that stuff. I just wanted to have the most opportunity, and I didn't want to get my hopes up by applying and not really getting in. I really wanted to be able to get accepted into the schools that I wanted to go to and that I thought I could see myself there. So I kind of just wanted to look about what different clubs they had, what kind of classes they offered. At the same time, I didn't know what I wanted to study, so I kind of wanted to have a lot of different options. Some of the state schools don't have some programs that the UCs do. Vice versa, some UC schools don't have some of the classes that the state schools have. So I just kind of looked at all that, the classes, the diversity, and just their acceptance rate. And that is how I made my list, just kind of going based on my own experience of the schools I had visited, and as well as, what I heard from some of the teachers, certain schools I never visited, I never even knew about, but they kind of would mention them, and, some of the schools were more prestigious, so I would also look at that too. But yeah, that is how I made my list.
Hey guys, my name is Jason. I am currently a fourth year at UC Santa Cruz, and I was a part of the 2017 graduating class over at Everest. And I just wanted to give you guys some tips on creating a college list that helped me when I was in your guys' shoes. So the first one would be first separate your colleges into 3 different tiers. First one being safety schools, second one being competitive schools, and third one being reach schools. So the first one being safety schools are schools that will probably accept you and also give you a lot of money. It's good to have a cushion just in case all the other ones don't work out for whatever reason. So the second tier would be competitive schools, which are schools that you are basically in competition for, as the name says, and you have a chance of getting in, but it's not guaranteed. And then the third tier would be schools that you don't have a high chance of getting into. For a lot of people, these reach schools are schools with under 30% acceptance rate. But yeah, I hope these helped. Feel free to reach out to me at japostle@ucsc.edu if you guys have any more questions. I'm free to answer them. Yeah, good luck, everybody.
Hi everyone, my name is Ellen and I was a member of Denali's class of 2020 who is currently attending Scripps College. This is my advice for you as you put together your college list. 1. Identify what you would like to see in a school. I would suggest making a list of 5 things you like about your school right now and 5 things you don't really like. Once you've identified those 10 things, look back at the things you don't like and find things that you would rather see, your ideal situation. And once you've done that, you have a list of what you want to see in a college. Look for those things as you research your college list. 2. Find safety schools that you would love to be at. A lot of us have dream top colleges, but we also have to be realistic. In the end, they're lottery schools. Find backup schools that you would be just as psyched to be at. And, in the end, maybe that's the one that wins you over. 3. Don't be afraid to reach out to students at the schools you're researching with questions you may have. Students are brutally honest, and that's why you'll get the most realistic looks at the schools that you're researching from them. Create a list of questions about your school or the school that you're interested in, and find someone, either someone you directly know or find connections. Another option is to look on the college's social media pages, and you may find student highlights who you can reach out to. Students want to help you. My last piece of advice for you is to keep an open mind and expect the unexpected throughout this whole process. I definitely didn't know that I wanted to go to a women's college when I first started my journey, and I didn't find my school until the very end of my search. I hope that you enjoyed this video and found my tips helpful. Good luck with your searches, and wishing you all the best. You got this. It's stressful, but in the end, it's so worth it.
Hey everybody, my name is Oscar Landa, and I am part of Everest's first graduating class. I am a Sonoma State alumni who graduated with a computer science major and environmental studies major with a concentration in energy management and design. I'm currently working as an IT specialist, and I'm also working as a software developer for a startup company. So my advice is for you guys when picking the right school would be to sit down with yourself and ask yourself, but remember, be honest with every answer that you give yourself. And ask yourself, do I see myself 2 years from now in the school? Do I see myself graduating from the school? Do I see myself enjoying this school? And most important, is this what I really want? Because at the end of the day, it's your choice and only your choice. So do not let anybody influence you. Do not let your friends influence you or family. Remember at the end of the day, this choice will impact you for the rest of your life. So if you have to write it down, write the pros and cons on a physical paper about the school that you pick. Look at the clubs that the school has to offer. Look at the sports teams that the school has to offer. And also look at the classes that they offer. Do these classes interest you? Are these the classes you want to take? Are these the clubs that you want to be part of? So there's a lot when it comes down to picking the right school. But remember, you have time, and do not stress about it because you have help. Remember, communicate with your mentors if you need the help. Ask them for help. And always remember that they will always be willing to help you out.
Hey y'all, my name is Laura Ramirez and I am a rising senior at UC Davis, graduating in spring 2021, and I am here to talk to you about how to make the ideal college list. And trust me, as someone who applied to over 13 colleges, I understand the importance of making a concise college list that truly reflects what you hope to get out of the next 4 years. It'll save you so much time and so much stress. So, how to make the ideal college list? Honestly, I would set some time to really go through the basics, go through locality, what kind of weather you prefer, sizing, do you like a big school, small school? Really look into the culture that these schools offer, if they're very competitive, high-paced schools, or if they're more laid back, if they're known to give a lot of priority to their students of color, if diversity is really important. All of these things really matter because this is going to be your home for the next 4 years. And my next advice would be to look into the programs that these schools offer. If you know what you want to get into, make sure that these programs are well funded because that is going to be the education you receive. So, the best of luck and remember to be your biggest advocate. Bye-bye.
Hello everybody, hello from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Some of you in class, or I guess virtual class, might know me, but my name is Benjamin Arts. I was asked here today by your teacher or whoever is running this event to go ahead and tell you about how I ended up choosing this college. It was a bit of a wild run, but I am currently sitting in my dorm at Cal Poly having the time of my life, and that is because of the system at Summit. Classes started today. It's a perfect fit, and even with COVID, everything seemed to work out. With a combination of junior year college readiness and senior year working with my mentor and my teachers, I ended up finding out that Cal Poly was the perfect school for me. The 4 points that I ended up looking at, and of course this might be different for you, because for example, one of mine is location. I wanted to go ahead and be in California so college would be cheaper and I was close to my parents. That was something that's very important. Maybe you love your parents less, or you want to go ahead and get out of this state. That is totally acceptable. And then you want to also go ahead and focus on location. You want to go to East Coast and visit New York and do different colleges like that. The second point for me was education, because you're going to college for what you will learn. Obviously, fun and everything like that will come along, and it is very important, but education is the first major thing for me that came through this. And alongside that, kind of at the same point, is my major, because you want to go ahead and pick something that fits with your career choice. When I said that I usually get paid for this, this is something that I'm trying to start working towards for my job. Obviously, if this doesn't work, we have second chance or second plans and stuff like that we've worked towards. And then lastly was my happiness. I've heard plenty of stories from friends that they get pulled out of their comfort of their homes, they get homesick and instantly leave. That's something that I didn't want to go ahead and face, or at least not all by myself. I ended up choosing UC Davis, and I was instantly nervous. Then I ended up hearing that my best friend went to Cal Poly SLO. I got accepted at Cal Poly SLO, so we talked about it. We ended up having a family dinner, communicating together what this would look like, and now we are both here at Cal Poly. Having someone close by to me that I've already known for 10 plus years is amazing for this period of time. So those are the 4 of my points that ended up making the perfect college choice over at Cal Poly. So my education, location, my major, and my happiness are all things. And you guys are going to be exploring that as well. Try and find your perfect 3 or 4 or 5 points that you think are very important. And best of luck on your college choices. And good luck with your year.
Hey Summit students, my name is Lourdes. I'm from Everest, graduating class of 2018, and it feels like forever ago since I have to think about anything having to do with the college application process. And if I could go back and give myself one piece of advice, it would be to not turn down the opportunity of a school or the opportunity to apply to a school based on the field I think I want to be in, because you don't know what you're really going to be into until you're there at the school, part of that community, and just really embracing everything that school really has to offer to you. I think that you guys are so awesome, and I know you guys are going to do great things, and just make sure you think about possibilities and not just that one thing you have in mind. Just really embrace everything that a school has to offer to you, and good luck.
As you've heard from our alumni, College Fit is really about possibility. It's about thinking what's important to you, ranking those points, and thinking what colleges could fit what I'm looking for. As you think about your range of options in FIT, we do recommend your list has a number of key components. We do recommend you have 1 to 2 reach colleges, meaning those schools whose GPA are a little bit above yours when it comes to their average acceptance rate. 1 to 2 target schools, schools that are getting and accepting students around your GPA, and 1 to 2 likely schools, schools whose average GPA is maybe a little bit lower than yours, more as a backup or a safety option. We also definitely recommend at least 2 financial safety schools. We define those as public in-state colleges who meet your target or likely range. We recommend this because we want to make sure every student has an affordable option open to them. We also recommend on your list, you think about if you have a lottery school. Now, lottery schools aren't for everyone. They are kind of like winning the lottery. Those are schools that are more competitive, more selective to get into, with average acceptance rates of less than 20%. At those schools, you may have the GPA, you may have the qualifications. It's still a little bit like winning the lottery to get in. So as you think about FIT, think about developing a list of about 5 schools you'd like to apply to ultimately that fit those reach, target, likely, and of course, financial safety categories. As you make this list, you also want to consider some important things. We do want students to consider the graduation rate. We do recommend that a best fit school is going to have a 70% or higher graduation rate. These is a school that's really going to invest in you and make sure you get to your goal of earning that degree. Good fit is at least 50% to make sure that their students are getting to their graduation and through their degree. If you come across a school with a less than 49% graduation rate, we do not recommend considering that as a good fit because we want to make sure you're in a supportive environment that will get you to your end goal. You also want to consider average indebtedness. Our recommendation is to look for schools that have around an average of $30,000 in debt at most for students. That can typically be paid off within about 10 years, and that's pretty typical of students across the country these days. If you're looking at schools whose average indebtedness is beyond that, you really need to take into account, is cost important to me? If it is, you want to be looking at schools that make sure they reach under that benchmark. You might be asking, but how do I find out this information? Here's some college search tips. One tip that one tool that every high schooler has is an account on Overgrad. Overgrad is our college and career search platform, which actually allows you to search colleges based on these different factors we've talked about, from academic programs. You could search by GPA, you can search by location. Overgrad will customize its search to your students' needs. And then from that search, they'll actually give you in-depth information per college. What is the student makeup like? What is diversity like? What does it look like in terms of gender across the school? What kind of academic programs are offered? What are the average qualifications of a student? Students can then follow and add those colleges to their list and eventually move that into their official college list, which Overgrad will analyze for them and think about those things like, is there a reach school? Are these schools, is there more likely schools? Is there a financial safety? That college list analysis will also think about considerations like academic fit. Is this the right fit for you in terms of are your goals and where you'd like to study? Is it in-state or out of state? Are you thinking about staying close to home? Do you have enough options if you want a new experience away from home? They'll think about the net price, again, thinking about costs is an important factor, and they'll think about graduation rates. Are students actually getting to their degree? It is very, very important as students take time to think about these lists and develop them, to stay in conversation, both with you as their family, as well as with their mentor, someone who knows them academically, to make sure that they're getting all the advice they need to make the most informed decision possible. Our research has shown when those group of advisors in a student life are all on the same page and really helping make that choice for a student, they'll be in a next step that they can really persist through all the way to graduation. So finally, some last tips. Outside of Overgrad, you can also use these general tools that students like to use: College Board Big Future, Niche, and Princeton Review, all different college search tools that you can find via Google. We strongly recommend that you engage in virtual visits with colleges right now during the pandemic. Colleges have opportunities to meet with admissions directly, to do a virtual tour, even 3D tours of their campuses just online. And then eventually, when it's, again, safe to be in person, go visit the campus, see what it's like. As one of our alumni said, go experience the food, go experience the weather. Think about what kind of school you want to be in and what kind of campus life you want. You want to connect with current students as well. They'll be able to answer your questions. As one of our experts said at the beginning, ask any question you have. People are so willing to give you their insight and share about their campus. Summit does have our annual college tours. This year, we're even doing them virtually, and those are opportunities for students to experience and envision themselves saying, is this the kind of campus that I could imagine myself on one day? There are many more resources on our college readiness website, college.summitps.org. If you click on the Finding Your Best Fit tab, you're going to find resources, again, to think about these different factors like location, cost, size, academic programs, as well as ways you can have a conversation about it with your family. Ultimately, our recommendation is to start the conversation now and keep it going. This is not necessarily a conversation you have during senior year. This is a conversation much earlier to start thinking about what's important to us and how we're going to rank those factors to make sure our student is getting to where they want to be. We're excited for you to have that conversation at home.